What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dynasty Pipeline. I'm Brian the Grizzly here with Alec. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I am ready. It's good to be back. It's about time you and I squash this beef, this
Dude,
bear versus eagle.
there's no look. It's as long as you keep on grabbing people like I don't know. You guys think it's St. Patrick's Day or whatever that you're gonna grab the red rifle again to be your backup quarterback. I ain't got no beef with you guys. I mean, Andy Dalton's an Eagle. The fuck is this? Is this 2020? Is this 2020? Do you guys know?
Super Bowl bound, baby.
You guys must
Super
know.
Bowl
It
bound.
must be 2020 because the Eagles are doing stupid moves again. So what? I don't know what the hell they doing now. But how can I really talk about you when my team? I don't know what the fuck we doing either. So I don't really know what the hell's happening, man.
You know, that's the off season for you.
That is true. That is true. So let's go over some of the moves that have happened recently. And as I said, Andy Dalton has been traded to the Eagles for a for a 7th round pick.
I was gonna say 4th round. That's a steal for the other team.
The Broncos traded for Jalen Waddle. So Jalen Waddle in a 4th round pick for the Dolphins get a 1st round pick in 2026, a 3rd round pick in 2026, and a 4th round pick in 2026. Why is that significant? Well, this seems to be something that works for the Eagles, right? Because I've been telling you that A.J. Brown's going to be traded. I've been saying this from the beginning. A.J. Brown, they're going to trade his ass. It looks like he's going to get traded, but now it can't be just a 1st round pick. It's kind of what me and you said last time when we were talking to Mark. It's not just it can't be a 1st round pick. If Jalen Waddle gets a 1st, a 3rd, and a 4th round swap, then what the hell does A.J. Brown get?
Well, like I said, give me that 1st, that conditional 3rd that turns into a 2nd. Clearly, if Waddle's worth all that,
I give me a 2nd for shit for
hey, you tell me that you'd pay a 1st, 3rd, and a 4th for Jalen Waddle?
No, I honestly I think the Broncos must have been real nuts, and they're just really, really antsy, and they needed a receiver, a game-breaking type of receiver. I think that's a whole hell of a lot. I think it's way too much, but it doesn't matter because it keeps the market, wherever the market was, it's inflated. So A.J. Brown has to be worth more than what they were talking about before. Has to be. But to the point that I heard a couple of teams have dropped off the A.J. Brown train. The Rams want nothing to do with this. The Bills don't want nothing to do with this. And it seems like it's really the Patriots bid it against themselves. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think that he will get traded. I just don't see it for at least this season. I do not. I think what Howie Roseman is doing what the Patriots were known for doing for many years. What do? Get a bunch of conditional picks. We just, we get a bunch of these extra picks just from people picking up our players from free agency because we don't want to sign them to big contracts. Just keep the guys that matter the most. Then all the other positions that don't matter as much, you can just let them walk, get a bunch of picks for it. Then you can use that as, collateral. You can use that also as for trade bait for someone big if you want to do that. So if they don't trade A.J. Brown, I don't think they're hurting with their 9 picks that they got, 9 or 10 picks. I don't think they're really hurting that bad.
Well, what I really want to do, I want to read what Adam Schefter said about this thing. I know on this channel we don't like Adam Schefter for a lot of things, but he still has his ear to the streets. He still understands a few things. He kind of said this. The Eagles are scheduled to have 11 to 12 picks this year in the NFL draft. I don't think they have they are 11 or 12 picks that can make the Eagles roster. I don't think the picks in this draft all that much matters all that much in potential to A.J. Brown deal. Of course, picks in each in every draft matter, but I think if they had their choice, it would be picks in 2027 and 2028 that matter more. They already have ample picks in the upcoming draft. I don't think that they need more picks in 2026. They'll probably like to spread it all out. And this is not supposed to be a great draft. The 2027 draft is supposed to be a strong draft. To me, I'd want a much more draft ammo in 2027 or maybe 2028 more than 2026. So I'm just saying, when you're looking at these things, when you talk about A.J. Brown, which I think this A.J. Brown trade could happen, I'm thinking that they're going to want 2026 or 2027, 2028. If they came and said, we'll offer you a 2027 first round pick and a 2026 fourth round pick, I think they take that. Because this is the first time I would say this, that 2027 first round pick matters more than 2026 because of the prospects that are going to be coming out.
Here's a fun little trade idea. I'm just curious to get your mind on it. Eagles trade A.J. Brown to the Raiders for Maxx Crosby. And in return, besides Maxx Crosby, the Eagles give him a 4th and a 5th for this year. In exchange, the Eagles give Maxx Crosby and next year a 2nd-round pick.
You know, doesn't help the Raiders. Why would the Raiders want a malcontent wide receiver going in with your rookie quarterback? That's the problem. It's because if A.J. Brown was a perfect citizen, cool. But that's not who he is. And that's why you're limiting the team that you could trade with, because he needs to be someone who has a strong-willed quarterback overall. It has to be the Patriots that are going to get A.J. Brown, because you have a quarterback who was a finalist for MVP. You have a head coach that ain't going to take any ish that's going for that. And because of A.J. Brown's attitude, I think you kind of lost a little momentum with a lot of this stuff. But I do believe that the Waddle trade helps them out a little bit. So, just saying. We got Anthony in the building. What's up? How you feeling? Was it true Ravens flew Crosby to D.C. and made him drive 2 hours to Baltimore to the harbor? So, I heard this, that they flew Crosby out. All right. And they gave him a car and he wanted to see the area because he was already traded for. Then they didn't meet with him immediately. So he was in the building and he did not get to didn't see the GM, didn't see the head coach. He was being given a tour around the building without seeing these guys. He didn't feel like he was wanted when he walked in the building. That's huge. That's problematic. And then that same the next day, he heard they're talking to Trey Hendrickson's his agency and everything about him. So when you talk about all that, when you add it all up, it sounds more like buyer's remorse than it sounds like they're worried about his health concerns. Just saying.
So this is conspiracy hat time a little bit here. Do you think that they purposely manipulated the market just enough so that way, once they realize they could get their guy that they actually want, they make up the excuse of, oh, it's his knee. His knee is the problem. He didn't pass his physical, so we're sending him right back, knowing the implications that it did to the entire market up to that point?
I honestly think that they just wanted to win. They knew they needed pass rush help. They needed to win. Owe was already out the door. They can't lose that, right? You know he's already gone. So they had to get someone in. And they thought, hey, Trey Hendrickson is older. I don't know if I want him. So let's go get the best guy. The best guy is Maxx Crosby. He was flying on the radar. I'm going to put my thing out there. And then I realized, oh, man, if he's injured and he wants to be paid more money, we can't have our quarterback and our defensive end making all this money, $40 million plus each. Even though Maxx is only at 29.5, signing him means you need to sign him to an extension. And the extension is going to be, he wants to make, like most of these great pass rushers, $40 million. They thought about that. They said, this is not in our long-term plans. We have a new rookie head coach. We have a quarterback that needs to show something right now. And they said, I'd rather get an older guy, see if we can win now, and then we'll see what we can do later. I really believe that's what it is. And they didn't want to pay Maxx Crosby, especially talking to his team. They didn't want to pay him more than 29.5. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, well, I definitely think Maxx is for sure worth more than 29.5. I mean, the guy has literally done so much. He's literally worth it.
I think, and he plays the run too. Trey Hendrickson plays the pass better than Maxx Crosby. He does. Maxx plays the entire position.
He does, and he doesn't take breaks. Yeah. So
I mean, and we've had this argument. I told you love Maxx Crosby. I thought Maxx Crosby was the top 5 defensive end. Top 5 defensive end. I've never thought he was on the level of Myles Garrett. I never thought he's. But if I'm going a level below him, I'm not going to Trey Hendrickson. I'm going to Maxx Crosby. Maxx is it.
Maxx can give you the complete unit that you would expect. Realistically, a run stopper, you typically don't think of an edge. You think of a D tackle or a nose tackle. So you're getting that from an edge who also has great pursuit on the QB, gets sacks, gets turnovers, and you can get him for, I think, ideally less than
market value.
Then yes, exactly. You could get him less than market value. You could get him less than TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, but you're getting more out of the player because of what he brings to the table.
You're not getting more than Myles Garrett.
Teams have to really.
You're not getting more than Myles Garrett. Come on. What is wrong? You've already been wrong. Why are you gonna still die on that hill? Just get off that hill. Man. Just get off the hill. You're wrong. It's okay. Let it be done.
Look, I'm just saying, Maxx does everything, and that's what makes him great. Myles is we've already talked about this. Myles is he's
the greatest of our era. So let's stop with this whole comparison. Maxx Crosby has worse numbers than Trey Hendrickson. That's not saying anything about him, but he's not the defensive end that Myles Garrett is. He's just not.
Trey Hendrickson is just great at one thing, and that's
and
the quarterback.
Myles Garrett is great at all things. And Maxx Crosby is good. He's just not as explosive, which is fine. It's fine. He's still very good. Like I have to talk him down because you want to bring him up to. It's almost like someone trying to compare like this the new thing to like Michael Jordan. You're like, no, start where you are. Just say you're good. I don't want to talk you down. Ugh.
Well, I definitely think Maxx for sure is definitely one of the greats for the edges. I'm not gonna say he's better than Myles Garrett, but he's definitely one of the best. And again, I don't know many edges who play 100% of snaps. I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter if you play. It's about the plays you make, and I will say. Micah's probably right now. I'll probably take Micah over or Maxx Crosby. I'll take Myles Garrett over Maxx Crosby.
So you would take a torn ACL Micah over.
Yes.
Okay.
Over. We don't know what's wrong with his knee. Maxx Crosby. Yes, I would. I would take Micah 100% of the time. I would, and he's young. He's younger. So Joshua says Patriots are getting AJ Brown, and y'all know it. I agree. I think Patriots are getting AJ Brown, and I don't think it's a question.
Nah.
Here's the question. He's saying first, third, and DeMario Douglas for AJ in the 6th.
I saw this I think weeks ago, and I was like, no, I don't see that happening.
If it's a 2027 first and a 2027 third, possibly. But once you go, because here's usually the rule of thumb, which when you're going back a year, you're losing around grade. That's usually how it is. So like a 2027 first usually is equating to a 2026 second normally, but I think in this instance it's more. But but the Eagles are going to say, well, I still want to be graded that way. So if you're going to give me a 2027 first, I would also want a 2028 second. Something to that effect. So you're spreading out the wealth. So now the Eagles could be good drafting high for multiple years. So now if something doesn't work out, they can always add more to their team for longer distance than just next year.
So I think in fantasy football, that makes a lot of sense. I think in NFL, that can work. However, looking at what the Eagles have to do contract-wise every season, when we're looking at this, they still haven't paid Jalen Carter. They have to figure out what they're going to do with that. They still have to pay several people. They have to decide what are they going to do with certain, like, for example, what are they going to do with Dallas Goedert after the 1 year? Are they going to have to sign him to another 1 year contract? What are they going to do now that Jalen Hurts' contract officially now is hitting his guarantees? So when you're planning out for years in advance, I have no issue with doing that if you can also be smart with the cap. If you're not smart with the cap, then you might just be hurting yourself more instead of trying to win now.
No, but doesn't that work hand in hand with this? I mean, the idea that they have 11 and 12 picks in the 2026 draft, And they
Yes,
sign on, they pick all these
and
guys
that's
and see who
smart.
makes the team. And then now you look at 2027, which is a better draft to have some higher picks. So now we look at, let's say the Eagles make it to the NFC Championship game, and then turn around and have a first round pick in the top 10.
And again, that is phenomenal to plan for. And that's why I'm fine with planning for the following season. When we're talking about anything after that, it's very hard to tell where those things are going to land typically. Unless we're talking about the Jets here. Then we know exactly what the Jets are going to do, because the Jets have always done. Or the Browns. We know what the Browns are going to do. But
I don't know, man. The Browns might be a decent this year. I don't know.
No,
I'm telling you, taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. Let's go. Anthony says, no, Ravens knew about the knee and still wanted the trade. I think they just won their 2 first-round back. Yeah, I think they looked at it and they had buyer's remorse. I agree with you, Anthony. They had buyer's remorse and they just didn't feel like it hit for them. Which, I mean, whatever. You have that option. You have those options. And honestly, I would say the Ravens have done this before. They've had buyer's remorse before. And I don't blame them. I'm a Bears fan, right? Do I want the Bears trading for Maxx Crosby for 2 first-round picks? Ain't no way in hell. I don't want that. No. Even if it means I don't get a defensive end right now and I could get a trade later, I would much rather have I would give 2 seconds. I'll give you the Von Miller trade.
The Von Miller trade.
That's what I'll give you the Von Miller. The second and a second and a third. That was the Von Miller. Maybe I'm doing 2 seconds. That might be something that I'm getting down with. But 2 first, I'm not with it. Joshua says, I think he's giving the Ravens too much credit. I don't think they advanced. They're just like, me regret giving up so much. Me lie. Me fail physical and pay other guy.
Would you be surprised, Joshua? Come on now. There have been teams in the past who have done things like this before. All I was saying was that put on your conspiracy hat for a second and just think about it for a second. I'm not saying that's actually what they did, but I wouldn't be surprised if they got caught with their pants down on it. But, we didn't realize we were affecting the market. My bad.
I don't think they even care about the market. I can get 2 Fs about everybody else. You think about yourself. But yeah, so that's the biggest news still. But they got a lot of other moves that's happened this week. What do you think about Justin Fields going to the Chiefs to back up Patrick Mahomes?
Fantasy-wise, not happy. Backing up Mahomes, that's not bad. I mean, he's a good, idealistic backup to have while you wait for Mahomes to be truly 100%. This just tells me that they don't think he's 100% yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mahomes isn't starting the season, just because they want him to be fully certain that he can do everything that Mahomes is known for doing. Because why risk it at that point? Week 1, send him back out there when you know he's not 100%. He'll look sluggish.
Okay.
Give the guy that you pay so much money the time he needs.
I will tell you that this is a win-win situation. This is a reclamation project. Eric Bieniemy is leaving Chicago, right? So he's heard all this stuff about Justin Fields. He knows all the ins and outs about Justin Fields, right? He left Chicago and he decided he goes back to the Chiefs and he tells Andy Reid, "Hey, you and I can build this guy back." Can you imagine if Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid could teach him how to read the fucking defense? That can come out, identify where the safeties are, see that it's closed in the middle, see what they're doing on the outside to the coverage, and make a decision, and then show him how, as he moves the coverage, how he can affect it. If Justin Fields can figure that out and have a quick throw away, oh my God, he will be amazing, because you can't teach the athleticism, but if you teach him how to actually play quarterback, and then what happens if you do that, and then you trade him away, and you get a first-round pick for nothing? I love that move.
Man, I can't imagine a first-round pick for that. But
no, what if once again we know he stays there 2 years now? Let's say he stays there 2 years, and we see Justin Fields has become, he's better than Malik Willis. You look at him as a backup quarterback, he's better than everyone else. He's not gonna surpass Patrick Mahomes. Never. That's never gonna happen. So you trade him away, and you get that, and a team's like, I need that guy. You tell me that you wouldn't give a first round pick for a guy that you think is really that dude? Would you have done it for Sam Darnold? What you wouldn't have done that for Sam Darnold if you any of the other teams?
No. Well, no. Okay.
For a 28-year-old quarterback?
What I will say is that when we're talking about Justin Fields, he's not worth a first rounder. He was drafted in the first round, but he's not worth a first round. Not even close.
Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying? That it's a reclamation project, and then you show that he's learned. And I'm saying that this year. And next year, they say, "Hey, look at what he is now," and everyone now is now identified that he's now figured it all out. And at that age, at that time, Justin Fields will be 28 years old. And if he showed he can read the defense and he's shown that he could do these things now, all it does is win for the Chiefs. And the Chiefs could, yes, a team, if they know now Justin Fields has learned out of this lesson, he's now the next guy who, like Sam Darnold, learned how to do that stuff. Baker Mayfield learned how to do that stuff and become franchise quarterbacks. You can do that. Who wouldn't give away a late first round pick for a guy like that?
If you ask me, might as well just throw Tanner McKee in there since everybody loves seeing him play.
No, but this guy is a first round
younger
pick.
Too.
This guy is a first round pick. So what you're doing is, once again, reclamation. When reclamation means you have to already have pedigree. And everyone already said, he has all this talent. We know the talent he has, but if I could teach you how to play quarterback with that talent, all of a sudden we're putting both these things together. I'm just going to say we'll wait and see. But I do believe what Anthony's saying, that this is his last option.
It definitely would. Well, I mean, it could be his last option, but I don't think he'll ever be worth for a first round pick ever. As much as I enjoy Justin Fields, he's always been the guy who's amazing as a runner, but mediocre as a passer.
But that's what we're saying. You're acting like we haven't seen guys who all of a sudden a light bulb has gone off. Like we haven't seen the Super Bowl winning championship.
Scenery, sure. Yeah,
it's not just a change of scenery, but you have to teach. Some people have to learn. Some people have to be built up the right way. I don't, I hate Green Bay, right? But Jordan Love wasn't ready to be a first round guy, a franchise guy coming out of college. But what they did is they worked with him. They worked on rebuilding Aaron Rodgers. They rebuilt his throwing motion. They taught him how to read. They showed him all the things, and then all of a sudden you have a special guy. The benefit about Justin Fields, and what I'm saying that he could still end up being this guy, is that he just turned 26. He's not an old guy, but you have to show you can play quarterback. And if he shows that he can play quarterback, being what he is right now, what we've seen right now, that's never going to happen. Never. But if Malik Willis could get what he just got, you tell me Justin Fields can't do something? I tell you crazy.
And we're talking about the Dolphins here who just traded away Jalen Waddle, so they really don't have much faith in their quarterback, clearly. They don't want to give him any weapons.
But does it matter? All it takes is one team to pay you something for what you're going to get. That's all it takes. So, yeah. And he says, well, Justin wasn't bad in Pittsburgh. He wasn't bad in Pittsburgh, but he hadn't learned anything. I think Justin was just the best version of what he's learned from himself. Justin needs to learn how to play quarterback.
That I do agree. I just have an issue with quarterbacks who haven't shown that that's who they are. Sam Darnold showed that he can be a quarterback. Baker Mayfield showed that he could be a quarterback. Justin Fields has never really shown that he is a high-volume passer. He's a great dual threat who can extend plays, and he does that phenomenally. But there's a reason why the Steelers didn't keep him. There's a reason why the Jets benched them. Again, I don't care about the Jets because Jets are the Jets. Poverty franchise for a reason. And there's a reason why the Bears didn't keep him. If he was really that guy,
of reclamation
he should
project. Like, isn't that the Sam? You're saying so? Sam
you're also saying that he's worth the first in a couple of years if he shows something.
Has been if he's shown. I don't know how you're not understanding this.
No, I'm understanding where your logic is.
No, right now, someone paid first round pick for Sam Darnold. Right now, someone paid Sam Darnold for a first round pick.
Right now, since he just won a Super Bowl, yes.
Because he's shown that he can win. It took 2 years.
But he's also shown that he can be a quarterback.
Yes. Duh.
He showed that in Minnesota.
Exactly the fucking point.
But he showed it in Minnesota, and they were dumb, and then the Seahawks picked him up. Justin Fields hasn't shown that, even when he's been on, 3 different teams?
Tell me what you think when you hear reclamation project. What do you hear? What is it that you're hearing? What is it that you're hearing? I don't know what you're saying.
I get what you're saying. I just don't agree that in hypothetical lands, that if he can prove that he can be a decent passer, that he's worth a first rounder. I just don't agree with that.
I didn't say decent. So once again,
I'm saying at least decent. You're saying that he'll become a great quarterback.
Let's you guys, all you guys out there aren't here exactly what I'm saying. Obviously, he's lost. He's a lost cause, so let's not worry about him. But you guys understand what I'm saying. So okay, we'll just move on because I don't know what he can't do it. It's not gonna happen. That's the whole point of reclamation. He hasn't shown it. Then what the fuck will be reclaiming if he had already shown it? I don't know, guys. I don't know. It is what it is. So we keep on going. We see Kyler Murray signs with the Vikings, and you know what? But Kyler Murray will never be a reclamation project either. Well, maybe he can. Maybe they show him. Maybe he shows something, right? Because he signed a 1 year, $1.3 million project. He goes to Minnesota. They show that he could be everything we always thought he could be. He either is their quarterback now, or he gets traded for something more special. If they sign him long term, maybe they say, okay, we're gonna hold on to you for 2 years and show you. And then JJ McCarthy says, no, we're gonna go ahead with the guy we drafted now because it's been 2-3 years. We now can go with him. And then guess what you could do with Kyler Murray? Trade him.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you don't believe that it's possible, I'm telling you that they could do this with a guy. Another top chance for reclamation. Yes, and I think this actually, I don't even think that I think he can actually be the guy. But Kyler Murray JJ McCarthy's younger. JJ McCarthy can still become a guy. JJ McCarthy still only started 10 games. So you don't know what you have.
That is the problem. Yeah. So I guess the real question is, if Kyler Murray balls out in Minnesota, because he's got Justin Jefferson of all people, he's got Addison of all people. If he balls out and they decide we're not going to make the same mistake that we did with Sam Darnold, we're just going to sign this guy to a big contract, then what do you do with JJ McCarthy?
You don't do it 2 years. And that's why. The answer is, in the middle of the season, if it's working for Kyler Murray, you tell him, we're going to give you a 1 year, $25 million contract. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we'll give you a 2 year, $40 million contract. That's your winning. Because you got this 1 year, $1.3 million. We're going to give you a 2 year, $45 million contract, man. Now, just to keep it going, show us what you got. But while you're doing that, you're still holding him to JJ because he's still under his rookie deal, and you're watching him as he's growing. And if you can determine that JJ is going to be better, then trade him away.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, they can trade him away, or if they want to let him walk in, let's say, free agency after a year or two, they could always get a pick back if someone pays X amount for it. That's always a possibility that they could do if they wanted to do that. I just don't know. See, my problem with JJ McCarthy is because I haven't seen enough on him in the NFL, it's really hard for me to gauge who he can be. I remember him coming out of college, people weren't exactly too thrilled about him because that was also the year that the Wolverines had an amazing rushing attack. So people knocked that on his ability to be a quarterback. And then it doesn't help you get injured both years, in the NFL. It doesn't help. It's just unfortunate, and because I want to see what this guy can do.
But it doesn't matter what you're thinking, because this is a team that drafted him already in the first round. Yeah. So they already believe that he could be the guy. And the coach doesn't not believe him. He just always thought that he needed to sit for 2 years. That's what he said immediately. He's like, oh, I want to get him. Yeah, I want to keep someone. I want him to be a 2 year sitter. I want him to be like, what did I just say? Jordan Love, a guy who can develop in the background while we keep the main guy there. And then we start to see all the specialness finally coming out because he's used to the game, and then we put him in. Mm-hmm. That's what they wanted. Yeah. So, and this is the opportunity to still do those things because obviously he's not there yet. You don't have to do anything right now. You could go 2 more years with JJ sitting behind Kyler Murray. And then you could decide to pay JJ, exercise his 5th year, right? You could do that. Bring him in. 1 year. We trade away Kyler Murray and keep it going. You don't have to make a decision with him right now. You just want to keep on teaching him and building him. Because even at the end, let's say 3 years from now, how old is JJ McCarthy will be? 26 years old?
It will be. I wonder in 3 years from now how much of an implication that will have on the offense. When is Justin Jefferson's contract up? Because I know he got paid. Yeah, because I know he just signed it. Was it a 4-year, 5-year?
I believe it's a 5-year deal, so I think he still has 4 years on this thing. So
yeah, so then if it was just another 2 years, and that means he's got Justin Jefferson 2 years. I don't know Addison, what they're going to do with
Addison's is a free agent after this year, I believe.
Yeah, so although I really think that they should keep him, truthfully. He's a terrific second wide receiver, and he could be a wide receiver 1 elsewhere. Mm-hmm. That's the thing with Addison. So they would be fools to let him walk.
You don't want to be the Bengals. You don't want to be the Bengals. You don't want to have these 2 great wide receivers that you arguably say I have one and number 1 and a 1A. And I'm paying these guys, and I don't have enough money for everybody else.
No, that's why you got to find a great GM who can negotiate. Like Howie does. I'm just saying. He does it better than anyone else, and it's true. Y'all would love that.
No one thinks that at all. Just besides you.
I don't know.
All that green is getting to your brain.
Devontae, I don't know, a great offensive line and your star quarterback who's won Super Bowl.
All that stuff is coming to an end. We'll see. Do you think Tua will start with the Falcons? If so, what's next for Penix?
Well, of course he's going to start. He's going to start until I think Penix is healthy, or until Tua has yet another concussion and he's gone from the league.
I don't think you really answered the question. You can't assume that that's going to happen. So if Penix is healthy,
mm-hmm.
and Tua is healthy, you're saying Tua's going to start, right?
No, I'm saying that if they're both actually healthy, Penix will start. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that you spend your first round pick on. Okay. Yes. Okay. Tua's only there for 1 year, just to be there until he's fully healthy. That's what I truly believe.
Normally,
do you disagree?
I wouldn't say that you're saying anything crazy. The reason why it's crazy is because it's not the same coaching staff that drafted him. When you have a head coach change, trust me, I know. This is all we do. The new guy doesn't always like the old quarterback, no matter how old. And this was a young guy that we drafted, and he's the guy we're going to go with. A lot of times they don't trust that he's going to be able to run their system. He's not their pick. If I'm going to have my job on the line, I need to have a quarterback that's my pick. That's what usually comes out of it, right? And I'm telling you that I think what's going on, because when Atlanta everyone got there in Atlanta, they're like, do you like Penix? And they're like, that's not promised that he's going to start. And then all of a sudden you're look for guys, and then Tua signs. I'm telling you that's what they're looking at. That's not my guy. And no matter him being a first round pick, now gets thrown out the window because of it. Trust me, I've drafted first round picks, and when you had a new guy come in, they don't care. Now, with that being said, I don't think what you're saying is crazy, because if Penix performs in practice and he shows that he has all the time that I saw in college too. Tua has probably some more talent than anyone in college. But if he shows he could be that guy, then you go with him. But I don't think him being a first round pick matters right now anymore.
I also think that the beautiful thing about this is it's really just a move to just spark competition, between both of them, to really see who wants it more. Even though I do think that Tua, I think, first off, I agree with you when it comes to college. When I think of the pros, I think it's because he's the vet there. I think he can be used very well to help Penix as well as he fights for that starting job. And if he were to lose it, he'd be a great mentor towards Penix. That could happen. But I guess we'll see how that shapes up once we get to training camp and we see more reports and whatnot.
You also got to remember what happened with Tua. Tua was probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks that we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And now the offensive line doesn't have to worry about who's behind the center, because they're both left-handed. crazy. Atlanta's just going to corner the market on left-handed quarterbacks. That's what they're going to do. That's crazy. I don't know. But I think it's going to be interesting. And I think I agree with you saying we're going to see what happens going forward when we start hearing from what Camp's saying. But I think there's a good chance that either one of them can be that guy. And I just don't think that either being a first-round pick won't matter, even with Atlanta. I think with this new coaching staff, the best player will win. But the caveat that if Tua wins, Penix is not going anywhere. Because exactly what you just said, right? One more concussion, you don't know what the hell you're going to get out of this dude.
This is true.
So, yeah, I like what you said, though. All right. The Bills signed Bradley Chubb to a 3-year, $43.5 million deal. My question now is, that's a fact. My question is, was that a better move than them trading for Maxx Crosby, who they wanted, or sign Trey Hendrickson?
I don't know if you can say it's a better move. I think given the scenarios that they are currently at, I think it's a great move for them. They needed the help, and edges and tackles require a lot of whip to be able to get. And he's definitely better than who they have now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Ed Oliver and who's our guy? Greg Russo? Is that the area? Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely better than them. So you take who you can get from the free agency. If you couldn't get the biggest guys, that's fine. This guy you have for years, he's still got it. You know, it's not a bad move at all. Of course, they'd rather have Maxx, but now they have no need to get Maxx because they just signed a guy.
Okay. Here's my problem with Bradley Chubb. He keeps on tearing his ACL.
Mm-hmm.
He's about to be 30. Bradley Chubb is older than Maxx Crosby. He's always been talking about potential. It's really never panned out. I'm not sure that I've been good with it. I'm not sure this is a good move. You know, and I'm saying so. Let's say Bradley Chubb, and I'm a Bears fan. Let's say it's the Bears that signed Bradley Chubb. I think I'll be saying the same thing. I'm not sure this is a good move. It's hard paying someone a substantial amount of money with all these torn ACLs. It's hard. And I just don't know that there's something that's going forward that's going to work.
Let me ask you this. What about what Phillips got from the Panthers? A guy who's also tore his knee up and leg. His entire leg.
It's the same guy. Bradley Chubb is older Phillips, Jalen Phillips. That's what he is.
But you know what's crazy is I think Phillips is worth more than Bradley Chubb. And it's because
he's explosive. He's more explosive.
He's very explosive. If you watch the tape on Phillips, man, you just wish he never got hurt because he just is so impactful on the defense. He could be something if he just wouldn't get hurt. Truthfully, I believe that.
He's gotten hurt every single year.
And so, once again, that's why when we compare the two. Like, if you ask me, if I were the Bills, I would rather have signed Phillips because at least you get a younger guy.
Yep.
Like, he would be worth that money. But, again, you're looking at the market.
What they paid him. You think that was an okay contract?
I think that he chased the bag and he got the bag rightfully so. Even though
was it a good
contract
for a team to sign this guy?
Man, I don't want to answer that question because you and I both agree we both know it's not a good contract.
4 years, $120 million.
Listen, man, what did we say earlier?
Guaranteed.
If you're a lineman, it doesn't matter what side, you're gonna get overpaid because people want to have that secured up, even if it's an injured guy. It just proves up the way the market is. Who else is left now for the market?
4 years, $120 million. How many sacks does Jalen Phillips have in his career? I just want you to tell me how many
when healthy, I'm gonna quote Martin. Man, J.K. Dobbins, when healthy, he's one of the best running backs out there. So when healthy, Jalen Phillips is one of the most explosive edges out there.
Okay, just answer me this. In the last 3 years, since 2023, how many sacks has he had?
Not that much because he's been hurt literally every one of those years. In fact,
give me a number.
His most healthy has been with the Eagles. He probably has in total, I'm going to say anywhere from 5 to 8 sacks in those 3 years.
He has 6 sacks in 3 years. And in the last 3 years, he has 6 sacks and just got paid $30 million.
Man, hey, but imagine, we're laughing now. You brought up Fields and all these other guys earlier, but imagine what
that's reclamation.
is healthy.
I'm paying you $1 million to just be here.
I know, but like just imagine though, if he's healthy and he goes stupid crazy and gets like 15 sacks, suddenly people are like, "Well, damn, maybe it wasn't so bad after all."
Okay. So he's been in the NFL since 2001. That's 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's 5 years.
I know.
How many sacks do you think he's had in the entire career?
I'm trying to remember. I think he had one season where he was actually basically healthy. I think that was his rookie season. Was it his rookie season or the second season where I think he had over 10 sacks, I want to say? No, he didn't even eclipse over 10. Did he get at 10?
8.5.
In one season, yeah, 8.5 was his highest. And that's right. And I think if I remember right, that was the year where he was on limited snaps as well because they were doing big rotations. And they usually do that with edges, especially when they're young, till they fully get it. So
how many sacks does he have for his career?
So if he had 8.5 for one of the seasons, and then you said that he had, I think you said 6 in the last 3 years. I'm gonna say that. So he's either got exactly 14.5. Or he's got something like super low, like added on his first year and probably like 2 or 3 sacks. So he's probably got like 17.5 total sacks.
No, he had 16 sacks, almost 16 sacks his first 2 years.
Okay.
Okay.
So
we really add it all up.
Okay, so then he would be at 22 in sacks.
He's around 28 sacks total. About 28 sacks since 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has about 28 sacks. Okay, it's not bad at all. I mean, but 28 sacks is that worth? And 28 sacks in 6 years, is that worth $30 million?
What they're probably looking at is not just sacks. Sacks are a great number statistic.
He has a very low tackle number too.
He does have low tackle. You're right.
He doesn't have any interceptions.
One thing that I do like about him, same way that I feel about Chop Robinson, is I care also about the pressure conversion rate. I care about how often do you hit the QB, because that matters almost as well. To me personally, matters actually more than just getting a sack. Those sacks are big plays that happen. If you're constantly getting pressure in the quarterback, he's more likely to make a mistake. And if you're hitting the quarterback as he's throwing the ball, he's definitely likely to make a bigger mistake. So they're probably looking at not just the sack metrics, and they're clearly not looking at the health thing, because if they were, they know he's not worth $30 million. But if his pass conversion rate is high when he is out on the field, and if he's efficient at getting to the quarterback, that's why they're paying him for. It's not because of the numbers, it's because of what they see on the film when he is healthy.
Okay.
So
28 sacks in 5 years, man.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with you on the numbers, but we also know that if he was healthy all these years, that number would be a lot higher.
Total tackles
is also stupid low. It's probably It's probably like 30 or something. It's probably some stupid low.
No, I mean, because think about it. So in 5 years, say you averaged 45, 50 tackles in all those years.
That would be actually good. That actually would be really good for an edge.
Yeah, he's not. He's at 177. Those are low numbers. I don't think I could pay that much, and I will be very worried. But it's not my money, so hey, power to him for getting the money. But if I was a fan of that team, I'll be pissed off. And you better turn to Reggie White, bro.
And you know what? If he sure does, man, everyone will be like, "Whoa, Panthers didn't overpay for nothing."
I don't think no one in this damn league believes that, but it is what it is. I'm okay with it. It is what it is. Okay, so there are still some guys out there that are getting way overpaid. So we just talked about Jalen Phillips.
Yes.
What do you think about Daniel Jones?
Didn't he get that 2-year
2
contract?
year, $88 million with how much guaranteed the first year?
Ooh,
50.
yeah.
$50 million guaranteed his first year. How do you feel about that?
Man, I don't know. So, do you remember that video that we watched and they were talking about the Packers and they weren't sure if they were a good team because some weeks that they look like a great team, the other weeks you're scratching your head. To me, that's how I feel about this. I'm like, is he worth guaranteed 50 million year one? Did he do enough to prove to you that he's worth that much for
Ain't
at
no
least
way
the
in
first
hell.
year? He didn't. So I'm like, on one hand, I'm looking at it like, well, I'm glad you guys signed him because I do think he should stay there. I think that he will flourish there. But for the amount that you paid him for, just for 2 years, based off of 1 year that he did, again, he did good. He didn't do phenomenal, but he did exactly what they wanted him to do. Definitely looked better than AR5 by a long shot.
What is
So
that? Let's not compare to anything. We see what he's worth. He's worth a late round draft pick now.
yeah. So all in all, I'm scratching my head, man. Truly, I don't know why. Because now all this just feels a little bit weird. You know, you gave up a first round for Sauce, and Sauce is great. Not going to dock Sauce. You didn't make the playoffs. You still have JT, which is really going to be your main vocal point the whole time. And now your number one wide receiver is probably going to be Josh Downs, and then they have Alec Pierce, I believe, that they re-signed. Yep. So you now have to throw it to those two guys unless they get somebody in the draft that just happens to be really good. You know, you never know because I mean,
there's 4 first round picks in the first round for wide receivers.
Yeah,
and you have an opportunity on one of them.
You definitely do, and you know it's a numbers game, and I think a lot of GMs don't actually realize this, but it is when you look at comparative draft spots, and you're like, okay, if this guy is projected to go, let's say top 12, and there's another guy who's also projected to go top 15 or 16. Is there really a big difference if the other guy is your guy trading back just to get this guy that you believe is just as good, if not better? I think those things are always possibilities when you talk about the draft. But to go back on Daniel Jones, I don't think he's worth that. No.
Here's the problem. So when you do your guaranteed money is really your real contract, guys. So it's a 2 year, $88 million contract, but 1 year, $50 million he's getting per year. So when they transition tagged him, he was getting about $37.8 million. That was the transition tag. Okay. Yeah, I actually looked it up. They don't have it first. They have the first pick is the second round, 47 overall. But hey, what's up, Mark? How you feeling? I was just looking that up. But so they went from basically a 1 year, $37.8 million contract to a 1 year, $50 million contract. How does that make sense?
Well, year 2, they're probably going to be really happy with themselves, but that will be year 2. Year 1, I don't know. It's one of those things where they're just going to have to bite the bullet and see what happens. You know, but let's be fair. It's not the worst contract.
He did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 2 firsts again, which I still don't agree with because you didn't even make the playoffs. So this definitely hurts you, I feel like, more than it helps you. But I will admit, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, Tua literally broke a record. And I don't know how the GM for the Dolphins not fired for it. You know, $99 million in dead cap, basically $100 million. That's horrible. That's a league record in the worst possible way.
But that's your guy. That's the guy you drafted. You know, that's so you used to stick with those decisions longer. You already transitioned tagged Daniel Jones.
Yes.
You already had him for $37.8 million. No one was going to match that. And you decided to sign to a 1 year, $50 million contract. Why? My problem is why? Now, if you decided you want to do a 2 year contract for $88 million and we're going to guarantee him $60 million and it's going to be $40 million that guarantee the first year and $20 million the second year. Okay. But what the hell are you doing paying them $50 million the first year? You could just treasure tag them and call it a day. Mark says, what's crazy is Danny Dimes might not play this season, at least not till late. Because remember, he tore his Achilles tendon.
So once again, is he worth the money when he tears something like that? Especially like that. ACLs for quarterbacks, though it does suck. It's not the worst case in the world, even though you're planting. I worry more about the Achilles on any
Anything.
quarterback.
No, for any person.
Well, yeah, sorry, for any position,
for any
especially.
position.
It's the amount of, from people that I've talked to who have dealt with Achilles issues, they said that it's hurt literally everything when it comes to being explosive. It hurts literally everything when it comes to pushing off of something. And when you're working out, you have to be very careful not to do too much load on it because it's just that important of a tendon. And so for him, congrats, they got your bag. But what will he look like towards the late part of the year?
I tore my Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you what's going to happen. Your explosion, you lose. You lose your explosiveness. You don't have it anymore. It's like your Achilles is a rubber band.
Yep.
And you rip the rubber band and you tie a knot to fix the Achilles. Is that rubber band ever going to be the same?
No.
That's what you're doing. And you paid this guy $50 million.
He's just going to be a guy who stays in the pocket, and he's usually a mobile quarterback. I would not trust him to run that ball and for the first few games he's back. Just let him be a stationary quarterback.
He won't
go down.
Don't trust it.
Don't take any hits.
You don't trust it as a player when you get hit like that. When you hurt something like that, you just don't know. You won't trust it. So it is what it is. I think that's probably the second most crazy contract I've ever seen. But whatever. All right. So now we got to think about all the fallback, the blowback from the Maxx Crosby thing, because now the Raiders have signed so many players. They signed a lot of guys and had a lot of money put up because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Raiders hold on to Maxx Crosby? Now they can.
They absolutely can.
They do.
I think their asking price of 2 first rounds is out the window.
Mm-hmm.
He's not worth 2 first rounders anymore, based off of what we just saw. Mm-hmm. Still, we're worth the first one, absolutely. Could be worth a first and a third. I 100% do believe that. But if they can't get that for him, then they'll just keep him around. I don't think that they should use him 100% like they have been. But knowing Maxx, he's always said that he always is good to go. He does not care. He always wants to play, and I do like that. But that's probably the new asking price. And it'll probably be closer to draft day if that were to happen. First and a third. I think that's more than fair for what you're getting out of Maxx.
Okay. Now, would you go with the 2 seconds? You said first and a third. Would you go with 2 seconds?
I would say it's a possibility. I guess here's how I'm looking at things. If it's a back end first round pick, it really is just an early second. If you're talking about for Maxx, if let's say, you do, you do a late first round pick and a second round pick, it's really no different at the end of the day, because if their picks are so close to one another, it doesn't really matter. So I could do 2 seconds, for sure, even though I think he's worth the first, and I think they do.
I think he could be, but here's the thing. So his salary cap hit for them is $35.79 million. So if they make that trade, they're not just trading for those picks, they're trading for that cap space.
Mm-hmm. And I think they would have to do that post June 1st, I think, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. You could make the trade now. You can make the trade. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And because the only thing you'll do is be like, you lose the money only if you do you're cutting them.
Oh, that's true.
First. So not a trade. So you get that cap space immediately, and you'll be able to sign some guys. And there's still some guys out there ready to go. But I think even with keeping him, I think they're around $27 million still under the cap, even with having him. You can do some things.
I mean,
you can do some things with that.
You could also just keep him around.
Another wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And I think they're getting ready. So this actually works better for you. Once again, I don't think, AJ Brown is probably a problem. I think they could trade for a wide receiver. They can even do anything. They can do a lot of different things, or they could just sign Tyreek Hill, who just sits for the Raiders.
Yeah, but also, what was Tyreek Hill's injury again that he had that was season ending?
You're,
And
you're,
given his age, I'm just
you're 100%. Do you think the
it.
cheat is over? Do you think he's done?
Oh well, of course the cheetah's never done, but we can't
He
expect
just
the
never
same thing out
prospered.
of him. Yeah, that's why I said earlier, Maxx and AJ Brown trade makes a lot more sense for them because at least, yes, you say AJ Brown's a bit of a headache, but then you get that guy, and you know what you get from AJ Brown, who can be a top 5 wide receiver, and you just trust it and give your brand new quarterback all the weapons he needs, just like how the Bears GM gave you guys a bunch of weapons for Caleb to grow with. Would that be such a bad
No, but
thing to have two
we already
alphas?
had those guys. We already had them. I'm hearing that they'd rather bring in a Jawan Jennings and Tyreek Hill, but and not do Maxx Crosby. And the question, if you can do that under the $27 million, I think that's smart. I mean, because really, you got to leave about $7 million for free agents, so you have to do that for somehow cap hit under $21 million. If you can do that, that's interesting. That's interesting, and I wouldn't be totally against it. But let's see what happens with that deal. I think we're going to get a lot more signings still going on because honestly, we've only been out doing this for a week. It seems like it's been weeks and weeks and weeks. It's been 1 week.
Yeah. The most exciting part of the year was those first 3 days where you just see a bunch of drop, picked up, trade. What? Yeah, no, those are usually the most exciting times until we get closer to the draft. Then things get really heated, and I love it.
All right, so we're going to get out of here in a second, but I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
Who won this period? Give me the 3 teams that you think deserve an A from this free agency period. 3 teams that deserve an A from this free agency period.
Man, I mean, I do think that the Raiders made a lot of smart moves, minus the Maxx Crosby thing. But if I'm just thinking about free agency, probably they deserve a high grade because they definitely were focused on a lot of things that they needed, and they were getting to do that. I think also only because they didn't need too many needs, but they kind of got it done. I do think that the Chiefs getting K9 is just such a huge win for them. I mean, you're talking about a team like, I mean, you're talking about a team that all they really needed was just a run game, and now they can have a run game. I mean, it doesn't get better for that. As much as people would chastise me saying, "Oh, the Chiefs are back," they're not back. I'm just saying that it's a great.
They could be.
They could be because of it. You know,
they
I
could
mean,
be.
Like, things are possible. You know, I think when I look at that, I also do like some of the moves I see other teams doing. I think the Saints made a couple of good moves.
I like the Saints. Okay.
The Saints did great. You know, I think ETN being there, like I told my buddy RJ, I told him I think that means Kamara is going out the door because you got to trust Neal and you got to trust ETN. And then also you got Caden Ellis there now, replacing Demario Davis, younger guy. He can fit that role, and he's a great blitzer. So even though that may hurt his tackle efficiency, does not matter if he's making the big plays to make up for it. So the Saints, for the first time in a while, I could say they're actually making smart moves.
Well, it's the first time they've been able to be part of free agency because they usually have so much money and salary that they can't even be part of it. They're dumping all the time, and now they're not. They've made some good moves. They bit the bullet last year, and I think they're coming out looking good because of it.
They do. And I'm not talking about teams who did trades. I'm not trying to include them just free agency. Because if I was, then yes, of course, you make an argument about the Rams, you know, getting Trent McDuffie. And you know, like, because obviously that would be
Jalen Watson, right? They got Trent McDuffie. I think this free agent period, I think you can say yes.
That they deserve an A for that, because for that, I would agree. If I'm just going off of just free agency signings and not including trades, then I'm not going to include them, obviously. But yes, the Rams are just doing what they always do. We don't need first round picks. We don't need them. Even though I think they still have one of them, if I remember right, because they have 2 this year.
Yes, they do. They still have a first round pick.
And I wouldn't be surprised if coming up near draft day, they just decide to trade back because, like, we don't need that.
We don't do first rounds here.
We don't do that here, buddy. We just play to win now every year. We just turn the sliders off on Madden. Everyone gets our trades.
Okay. I like those. Okay. Those are pretty good ones. All right. I'm trying to think of someone that's different than what you said, because I had 3 teams written down and I like most of them. I like what Pittsburgh did, but I don't know what the hell I can't make them the team, because who the hell's gonna throw them the effing ball? I don't know what the hell's going on there. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. So I can't name
Aaron
them.
Rodgers, maybe.
And if you have Aaron Rodgers as your answer, then you don't know the damn question. So that's what I don't necessarily think that's the answer. When I wrote down initially, when I asked the question, I wrote down Raiders, Rams, Pats. Those are my 3 teams. I'm gonna go with Raiders. We know what they did, and even the Maxx Crosby. Even if they do trade him, they get more draft capital, and they still have the number 1 draft pick in NFL. So I think Raiders, no duh. Rams, we already said. Where's their problem? Defensive backfield. What did they do? They looked at the Chiefs and said, "Give me your DBs. Get over here." And now they have 2 solid DBs. Can you tell me they're not the second best team in the NFL? No,
they honestly could be arguably number 1.
They can, especially if they look at, they were right there with Seattle the entire time. They were beating them in overtime. So like they could easily be the Super Bowl champions, which I told you that could be happening. But whatever. So that doesn't surprise me. And the Pats, I love what the Patriots done. I thought New England they are phenomenal. I love the Kevin Byard signing. I think they solidified. So was it Draymond Jones, right? They signed him. Elijah Vera Tucker. I think they needed to do that offensive line. The offensive line just needed help. Yes, Romeo Dobbs is your a quarterback's best friend. He is top tier second wide receiver. That's what he is. He's like the best second wide receiver you're going to get. So I think with Byard, I think they got some veterans to go along with a lot of their young guys that's going to help mold and push that team. I think that team is better than last year, but wins less games. But I still think they're better than last year. So those are my 3 picks: Raiders, Rams, Pats. But I do like a little bit with what Carolina did. I just he for so much fucking money. It's just so much money.
Only time will tell. Maybe he suddenly is just healthy. Maybe they'll do the CMC approach where they'll just sacrifice their players
all
so that way he stays healthy. Could you imagine that? He like goes in and everyone else is getting hurt but him, and he breaks like the sack record or something, and it's like, oh, thank you, demons. Thank you for your worthiness.
Oh man, that's terrible. But no, I think that it does make sense, and I don't know. I don't know if I would have done that, but I want to say an honorable mention for me is Washington.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's great or if it's just they filled out their team. So was it Amika Robertson, right? And then Marcus Mariota, who's another great backup and really is worth anything you're going to pay him. Yeah, especially with having, when you have a quarterback who's kind of thin frame, you don't know if he's going to be, available all the time. Marcus Mariota is a really good backup quarterback to have.
I do think from a defensive standpoint, the Texans are honorable mention because them signing Reed Blankenship is a great hire.
Again, they already were great.
Yeah, but why stop when you're great when you can try to be the best? They
probably are the best.
That's the mindset. Well, no, that's the mindset you have to have. If you could get a player that can make your defense better, go and get him. Even if you're already a top, let's say 3 defense, go and get him. It does not hurt. So
but you gotta remember. So the Commanders got Owe. They're the ones that pay Owe. Leo Chanel
paid him a lot of money.
Tim Settle. Was it Chasen? Chase is on there. Like they what's the safety guy? Marcus, even know. Gross? Is that Nick Gross. I think it was Nick Gross. They signed a lot of guys. Okonkwo, right? Okonkwo went to the Commanders too, right?
I think so.
Aminahu and Rashad White.
Yeah, White is to me. I like the White signing a lot because they needed a running back. And White, still very young.
Mm-hmm.
And literally their whole backfield is young. Let's be real. They have like 3 guys that are like under 25 or 26.
Yep.
I mean, so White can lead the charge. He's done it before. He's had one terrific season, and then Bucky Irving, what's Bucky Irving. So just trust White, So I think that's great for Jaden Daniels. Finally have yourself a competent running back. Don't have to do too much. So that part I like. That part I do agree with.
Yeah, they got to tell Jay Daniels to stop trying to fucking run. Dump it off to Rashad White. If you think you're going to run.
But Brian, we already knew that going in. Hell, when I did a freaking tape review on him, he literally is a guy who has said that he may be a quarterback, but he likes to just dig down and just put his head on there. And boom, shoulder. Like
he thinks he's Justin Fields. He literally thinks
he's a
his
running
body
back.
is
That's
Justin
what he
Fields.
thinks he is. He thinks he's a running back because he literally has such great arm talent and he can run the ball.
And
that's
he's
why
accurate too.
And again, that's why I love him coming out. For me, when I was looking at all the quarterbacks, in my opinion, and so many people told me I was wrong about this, I had Jaden Daniels number 1. I had Bo Nix number 2, especially if he went to the Broncos. That was my personal opinion.
I fucking hate Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is
the only one I don't like.
Some people don't like Bo Nix.
I hate Bo Nix.
And then I had Drake May, and then last I had Caleb Williams. Because I thought Caleb Williams, even though he has all this ceiling that can be very high, I just thought in my mind it's going to take him longer to reach that ceiling versus a Drake May or a Bo Nix.
Does that matter?
That's what I thought.
Is that what you're drafting someone for? Is that what you're drafting someone for?
If you're drafting a guy to be your very first overall pick of the first pick of the draft, you're wanting him to.
Are you drafting for year 1, or are you drafting him for in year 5? You're going to be signing him because Bo Nix might not be a Bronco next year, but that's the problem with Bo Nix.
Stop it!
Oh, you haven't. You know you've heard the rumors. You know you've heard the rumors, and that they already have problems there in Denver. You know you've heard it. So I think even when then I thought Jaden Daniels was number 1. I thought Caleb Williams was number 2, and I thought Drake May was number 3. I thought it was really close between Drake May and Caleb Williams. I've always thought that. That's just always where I always thought Jaden Daniels was the clear number 1. Bo Nix is not even worth the first round pick for me. But he's who he is. He is who he is. He's very accurate. He'll never be ultra talented. He's just going to be the guy who's never going to be bad. His floor is higher than most other people's.
Yes.
Like most of all those guys, he has a higher floor. So you have a lower chance of failing with him. But I think his ceiling is also the lowest of all of them too.
Let me just ask this one simple question. Do you think if Bo Nix plays that game against the Patriots, do you think the Broncos win?
They better. So I think the Patriots were a joke. Honestly, and who would I blame more than anyway? CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was the reason why all this stuff was. CJ Stroud the reason why we had a bad Super Bowl. CJ Stroud is the reason, guys. It's his fault. That's my quarterback in my fantasy team. 100%. He's the reason. The whole AFC was screwed up because of CJ Stroud. And that's my last thing I'm gonna say about that.
All right,
guys. So we gotta get out of here. Been here for 70 minutes. Been a lot of fun. Talking about stuff. I cannot wait till Gridiron Heights comes back. I can't wait for us to start breaking down some of these rookies because we got a draft coming right around the corner. I know a lot of people's seasons are starting. Especially if you're doing fantasy dynasty stuff, you have to have a season starting soon. You start to looking at these guys. You're thinking about, okay, can I do free agency? Mine has free agency already starting. So
we got you with all those great picks. Just put in your messages. We got you.
100%. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate Alec coming in with me. But we're gonna get out of here, and we'll see you guys next week, same time, same channel. And then, of course, Tuesday, get the Bears, and then Sunday, the Morning Spike. Till then, we'll see you guys a little bit later. Peace.
See you guys.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate.